Okay, I should probably. So, damn it, I was sort of on a roll.
Oh, did you lose your vibe or whatever?
Well, I don't know. Do I need to go back and say the entire thing again?
Oh, please, God, no.
So, and this is Gaytriarchs.
And we saw each other. Wait. Should we start off with the top news? Is that we saw each other?
We were in real life together.
I haven't touched Gavin since we recorded episode one with Craig Ramsey.
Mm-hmm.
I have not seen him in real life since episode 1. And we went into New York City, yesterday? The day before yesterday? Somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw each other and we hung out and we did some things that we'll talk to you about later. But it's not like sexy things. We recorded something.
If only.
Well, but we recorded some sexy things.
You don't have to dumb it down.
No,
Come
that's
on.
true. But it was so fun to see you.
It
I was like, oh yeah, this is what Gavin looks like in real.
It was a reminder of when you work with somebody over Zoom constantly, as we know for the last couple of years, you forget, frankly, the humanity in the other person. Yeah. Even though you and I definitely laugh. I mean, I know that you are human, but I think sometimes you think I'm a demon. And so I'm glad to know that you saw that I was not that I'm a demon and a human. So
I was surprised you still used your walker, but it was good to see you regardless.
So speaking of walkers or not, you know that Tractor Supply has brought on its own little bullshit recently, right? That they
I do not know this.
Do you really not?
I don't.
I do.
We're talking about Tractor Supply, like the store, right?
Yes.
No idea.
We probably read different news sites, frankly. but
I'm going to stop you on read news. I'm just going to stop you right there.
Okay, so anyway, Tractor Supply recently got in a little bit of hot water, I suppose, with a certain side of the political sphere because they have completely abandoned and overtly abandoned all of their DEI initiatives of any kind. They're like, we are no longer doing it, and by it I'm waving my arms frantically to say they're not doing it in any of it. And they very publicly said, we're not doing it anymore. We're not doing the pronouns. We're not doing pride parades. We're not doing DEI. We are not doing quotas. We're not doing any of that, right? Which has been like a lot of people feel a way about it because they are obviously kowtowing to the political right. I mean, and hey, Tractor Supply, I suppose, like, listen, rural America and conservative America are, I would say, okay, I'm not going to get on a political soapbox, but they are voting not in their own best interest. And
they never have. And it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating.
It's so frustrating because of misinformation and cultural manipulation. Anyway, Tractor Supply has dumped all of, quote unquote, it. Well, Harley Davidson is in the news a little bit now because they are also being targeted by this same campaign. But so far, Harley Davidson is essentially being like, fuck you. We love the dykes on bikes. We love the gay riders. And I don't think they're taking any huge stands yet, but they're like, we're not going to abandon this because these are our riders as well. There's
two sides to this coin, right? There's the like, what do they actually think about it? And then there's like their company public position, which as we know are very much often in opposition. I have many gay friends who work for Target, but we all know that Target is not pro-gay unless it's June. So it's like that kind of stuff. But it's always shocking to me when a company decides they want to take a big swing like this in that direction, right? Like I can understand if you're quietly removing DEI stuff, but like not that I understand it, but I could see a business motivation for that. But I'm always shocked. Like, a lot of motorcycle riders are gay or dykes and bikes and stuff like that. But like, why take this position on going backwards? It seems so stupid.
Yep. No, it's entirely right. And I mean, this is certainly like a pendulum swinging, I suppose. And it's too bad, but listen, I mean, progress is not a straight line, and it is not a straight line because the gays are not popular either with John Deere. So unfortunately, there's a pendulum of the John Deere company is caving, and they are indeed dumping all of their DEI everything, and they are not doing it as I wave my arms to get round.
I feel like all the companies that are going to go the other direction and it's going to be Tractor Supply and John Deere, I'm kind of like, okay, like you can have them. Like, it's like, you're not taking away Taylor Swift from us. Like, so what, do I really need to hold on to Tractor Supply? Why don't you guys have Tractor Supply and we'll have free healthcare? You know what I mean? We'll have all the other stuff.
If only. If only, and let's hope. So yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting, gays in the news. But then also there's a little element of gays in the news that I found utterly hilarious. There is a gay priest. Well, let's not label.
Of course there are.
There is a priest who used to be pretty high up in the archdiocese of wherever. I'm not Catholic, so I will butcher those terms, who is currently suing Grindr because of a data breach. He feels like they invaded his privacy. And the reason this came about is because he got caught by a right-wing publication called The Pillar, and they were able to geofence, track, locate, hack his phone probably, and put two and two together that he was having threesomes on the side thanks to Grindr. And so rather than suing The Pillar for exposing his behavior, he's suing Grindr because they didn't protect his privacy enough, which I find endlessly hilarious.
It's just so, like you see me like rolling my eyes over here and just like shaking my head. There's so many parts of the story that I hate, and I'm going to take all of the ones that you've heard a million times away. But it's just always so funny how like okay, let's take everything away, but the data part, like we all know this, and I think we have to be constantly reminded. We are just volunteering our information,
absolutely,
our location, our eyeballs constantly to these free platforms.
And children also who are online, for instance, my kids who are on TikTok and everything, and I have to keep in mind, and we need to be able to teach them. You are volunteering an awful lot of information. You just got to keep aware of that.
Do you know the amount of people that have seen me naked in the world? My poor router just sends nonstop dick pics to every stranger within 100 miles. But it's also, and there's a whole like Catholic priest part of this, who is again talking about voting against their own beliefs, doing all of that kind of shit. Oh, it just it enrages me. Do we have anything good to say this episode? We have started so terribly.
Thank you for letting me go down this political route that I love so much. It makes me so very, very turned on.
It's my gift to you.
Can you see through the Zoom?
Yes.
Anyway, that I heard an interview today with Governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, who made the statement that his political platform is essentially, I want to have a state, I want Minnesota to be this best state to raise a kid. And that is what informs his policies on housing reform and interest rates and healthcare and all the things, which you could say are a bunch of lefty liberal policy platforms. But really, he's like, nope. I'm just trying to make it an easier place and an easier time in our very difficult lives to raise a kid. And shouldn't we all just move to Minnesota? Because what an excellent platform that is. It just takes the politicization out of it.
Yeah. I mean, I would say like, I've gotten arguments with family members who are super, super right. And I'm like, well, tell me why you're right. And they'll list all the things. I'm like, those are liberal ideas. Yeah, they're like, I don't want the government to spend a bunch of money on stupid shit. And I'm like, that's a liberal idea, babe. Your Republicans are the ones spending all the bullshit. Anyway, well, that's nice. Righty. That's kind of a nice thing to end your political rant on.
Thank you for letting us go down that line. So, speaking of things that are also uplifting, you know what else is?
What else is?
Wait for it. Wait for it. There was so much judgment in your eyes when you said what. You just didn't want to take that path. Did you?
Do it. This is your show. This has been your show. You started it. You have everything on the outline. I have literally written nothing. This is your guest this week.
All right,
I don't even know why I'm here.
Okay, let's hear about your top 3 list.
Gaytriarchs top 3 list. 3, 2, 1.
So this week is my list, and this week the list is the top 3 things you like to do by your fucking self. We have kids, obviously, and we don't get to do a lot of things by ourselves. So here are my top 3 favorite things to do by myself.
Tell me.
Number 1, poop. I love pooping alone. I like to take my time. I like to watch TikToks. I like to just be by myself. There's always a knock at the door. There's a daddy, can I have a? And man, when they are not home and I just get to poop by myself, chef's kiss. Number 2, I like to eat popcorn by myself because the way I eat popcorn is like somebody who hasn't had a drink of water and has been, traversing through the desert in 6 weeks, and they just see a big lake dry. And they put their face in the water and they just scoop the waters up with their hands. That is how I eat popcorn, and it's embarrassing and shameful, which is why I do it in the dark. And so number 2, eat popcorn. And number one, my favorite thing to do by myself, deal with a tantrum.
Oh,
because
yes.
when you have another adult in the room, either a co-parent or your grandmother or a friend or whatever, there's just the eyes. It's not that there's judgment, but there's judgment. And I feel like every tantrum I get, and it's just me in the driver's seat, I feel like I'm best parent ever.
I wasn't expecting that last one, but you're exactly right. There are just some things that should be done alone. I completely agree with you. Completely agree. So for me, number 3, movies. I want to watch and go to a movie alone. I don't want to take kids with me who are so entitled. They think that they need the $25 popcorn and a drink, and they are double tasking it anyway. And I'm always afraid they're going to need to go to the bathroom and they're bored and whatnot. I just want to go to a movie alone. I don't care if it's G-rated or R-rated. I want to go alone. Number 2, drive to Target and shop and return alone. That includes listening to NPR on the way there.
Oh, you are such a cliche.
That includes getting my Starbucks.
Oh my God.
Walking the aisles. That includes driving home, listening to NPR on my own. That is the best. But it pales in comparison also to my number one thing that I love to be able to fucking do alone is Saturday mornings. I want to wake up when I want to wake up. I want to have my morning time. I want to have my coffee. I want to read. I don't want to have to manage anybody else. I just want my Saturdays alone. There you go.
Yeah. Well, someday you'll be all alone when everyone leaves you, so that's okay. So next week, normally you would be choosing our top 3 list. But next week,
I would be making up our next top 3 list off the top of my head,
and we would probably have a cold open in the bank because you could not remember it.
Since this is your improvisational show, you get to pass the buck.
So next week is a very special Gaytriarchs episode. Mm-hmm. We're going to do a special back to school episode. Mm-hmm. One of our wonderful listener reached out and said, "Hey, are you going to do a back to school episode?" And I was like, I don't have school age kids yet. Like my son is going to kindergarten next year. And
you have no experience.
I didn't even think about back to school. Mm-hmm. And I messaged the back. I was like, that's a great idea. So we're going to do a special back to school episode, and we're going to have former guests come on and give us their top dad hacks or top parenting hacks for back to school. So get ready for that next week.
This was the best idea you've never had.
Thanks.
So our next guest is above the fray of the mommy blogosphere with a delicious perspective on all things mommy and blogs and spheres. She is a regular writer at the intersections of parenting and race and gender and sexuality and economic status. Probably most importantly, though, she's going to bring an awful lot of pop culture knowledge to us at Gaytriarchs, the finest American news source. But she's an amazing queer mom with a son who recently stated, and she'll correct me here, women's basketball is better than men's basketball. Please welcome the mommy with the mostest, Sa'iyda Shabazz. Tell us, how has your kid driven you bonkers today?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's still early. We live on the West Coast, so, it's still morning time here, so there's still a lot of day left. Mm-hmm. He actually hasn't been
for him to screw it
up. I feel like they usually give you half a day of each, right? It can either be the second half of the first half. So he's giving you the first half of like a nice calm before the
storm. So far, things are good. Yeah, so far things are good. So, I'm grateful for that, but there's still a lot of day left.
Yeah. And how much of summer is left?
So we have about 10 days left before we go back to school. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. So we're coming in on that tail end of summer vacation. And I love my son.
Uh-huh. ..
I do. Yep. I love him so much. And
that is a universal ellipse for sure.
Yes. I'm really grateful for the summer that we get to hang out, because we don't get to do that during the school year because of his extracurricular activity. Mm-hmm. But he's eating me out of house and home, y'all. It's a lot. So I will be grateful just for that.
Groceries are expensive. And he is how old?
He is 10. He will be 11.
Oh, man.
Oh, just imagine.
His body is just getting ready to just be disgusting and smelly and gross. Yeah.
And
that's really kind of
but and also you think he's eating you out of house and home right now. I mean,
he has been since he was 4. So the thing about I have he is tall for his age. I was trying to think of the nicest way to put that. So he is already probably about 5 foot, 5'1", and he's 10.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and he wears men's shoes already. He's a big kid for his, for his age. So he eats a lot to have to like maintain the constant upward growth. I went grocery shopping yesterday, and I spent a lot of money on very little, but also grocery prices in America are banana pants.
You know it.
So we were like, what did we buy that we spent all this money? And so it's a lot of me just being like, hey, can you make these things stretch? Like, he loves fruit, which is amazing because people are always like, how do you get your kid to like eat fruits and vegetables? I was like, I don't know. I just got lucky.
Because it's expensive, so he loves it.
Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly it.
He likes caviar and pineapple and gold-plated this. And
he loves blueberries. And so those have been one of those things that have gotten increasingly more expensive very quickly. So I have to remind him, like, hey, we have to stretch these out. We can't eat the whole 18-ounce container in a day.
Yeah. Are you guys executive Costco members?
Yeah, we should be.
You should be. I mean, the fruit there is amazing.
Just to keep up with him. He's also, I've created a bit of a monster, and he has now taken to a daily smoothie.
Oh, he fancy.
Fresh.
No, we use frozen, but even frozen fruit is still pricey.
Yeah,
true.
When you're going through it that often. And he likes I cut it half apple juice, half water. So we're also going through apple juice like crazy.
That's a lot. Okay, so you're already kind of getting to part of one of your favorite topics, I have a feeling, which is about like socioeconomics, right? Yeah. And talking about like the price of living.
Yes.
But I'm curious, will you just tell us how your family came to be?
Oh, okay, of course. So I had my son through a previous relationship with a man. I used to identify as bisexual. I now identify as a lesbian. And so we had our son, and we split up pretty like shortly thereafter. So I was a single mom for 6.5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a challenge, but we got through it. Like, thank God for my parents, because we lived with them for a few years.
Great.
While we kind of got, I kind of got my footing under myself and got my career started. So I had been trying to be a writer for some time, but like digital media was just kind of coming up as I was a single mom. And so the two things coincided. And so that was great. I officially came out, I guess, in 2017 and started like exclusively dating women. And in February of 2020, I met my now wife. Yeah.
Which, good timing there.
The timing was could not have been better.
Love it. Yeah.
We met, online like everyone else does. And, we did we're just gonna like be casual. And that lasted for about 5 minutes.
It's in your blood.
Just
you're lesbian.
Right,
you're lesbian.
Exactly.
It's not just because of lesbianism, but also, remember there was an international. People might recall.
Yeah,
there was a little thing, yes, but no, it was the stereotypes are stereotypes for a reason. So that was we made things official. I think about 2 weeks before the lockdown.
Wow,
right.
I will never forget because I remember. My son was in kindergarten at the time. And so he had a medical emergency that required us to go to the hospital. We found out that he has allergy-induced asthma. So imagine that at the time where there's rumblings of a respiratory disease going around. So I was like, this is great. But it turned out that it was something very specific. That was at the beginning of the week. The end of the week, he had a day off from school. He was in school for like 2 days that week. The last Friday of that week, he had the day off from school. We got a message from school saying that school would be closed for 3 weeks while they sorted out all this COVID stuff.
A quick 3 weeks. We'll go back to normal. Yeah.
Or at very least we'll know we'll know what's going on. And he did not go back to school for 1.5 years. In person.
Jeez, at kindergarten.
Familiar.
Familiar.
Yeah. So we did he did the second half of kindergarten and all of first grade virtually. And I would not have survived without my wife.
No doubt.
She became like, she just stepped up to the plate almost immediately. She just was amazing and was all in from like the very beginning. Like, it was great. I mean, during the worst of lockdown, she'd spend like 2 or 3 days at our house with us, and then 2 or 3 days at her own place because she had 2 cats.
Mm-hmm.
And she still has residual guilt about,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I know. The stereotypes are true, guys.
Yeah.
She still has residual guilt.
I like women's figure skating. Stereotypes are okay here. This is
They're
okay.
okay. Listen.
Yeah.
We're all about bring on.
I'm a dog. You know, it's what happens when a dog lesbian and a cat lesbian get together. 'Cause I'm a dog lesbian. But you know, so she would spend like 3 days on, 3 days off for a couple of months, and then again, the stereotypes are true. She moved in about 3 months later. We were engaged by the end of that year.
Wow.
Yeah.
She had a pretty sweet setup, I would say, for a little while, though, that she kind of got a little break from, like, she got to still live in her world for a little while and not be completely immersed. But it's awesome that you got totally together. And
but she knew, you know, that she was all in. It was just like, how do we, you know, we had only known each other for like a month. So it's like, how do you temper that?
You were being responsible.
I don't know how you parents dealt with, because my son, I have 2 kids now, but like at the time when COVID happened, I had a 6-month-old boy. That was it. I had nothing else. So COVID to me, as far as my kids were concerned, it didn't really affect them as far as school is up. But you all who had school-age children, these poor kids who lost out on their junior, senior years, kindergarten, first grade, this is like a huge, huge deal. I watched my sister-in-law like have to tutor her kids full-time, watch them as they're doing online learning, as she's trying to have a full-time job. I don't know how you all did it.
I always say that school-age parents had the worst, the parents of school-age kids had it the worst. I mean, I get it. I understand it's like hard to be isolated with a baby, but also there's a good chance you're going to self-isolate anyway. I know that.
100%. 100%.
I know that from having a kid. Like, I was like, I didn't want to go out half the time and have to schlep him and things and all the stuff when they're that little. But it was fucking brutal.
Yeah. Please don't curse on this podcast. This is a very, very buttoned up podcast. Please never.
So speaking of bullshit,
fucking bullshit.
You are a writer.
I am.
And you call out a lot of bullshit.
I try.
In all of your writing, right?
Yes.
And so I'm curious, you've written about a lot of different topics. Can you just first of all tell us, what's your favorite piece you've written?
Oh my God. I've written so much over the years. I've been writing since 2016. So I've written a lot.
Yeah. But also, isn't that sort of, are you considered like second generation, not blogosphere, but opinion writing? Like, you're not from an early era of blogging.
I'm not. No, I came in on like I think kind of at the tail end of the boom, if I'm thinking of it in that kind of perspective, because it was just around the time where the shift was happening from had already happened from blogs to websites that were made and geared towards parents, or moms more specifically. Yeah. But it was just about to start making the shift into influencer culture. Mm-hmm. So we hadn't quite made the shift to like the Instagram social media influencer mommy just yet. It was still in that space where like writing was still kind of the go-to for that time, where like you had the space to really write. I had a lot of opinions.
I'm too young to understand. What is a website? What is that, Gavin? Gavin, to explain to me?
Nana's here.
Nana's here. She's logging into her AOL.
Hey, I still have the same AOL. I don't use it for professional purposes, but I still have the same AOL email that I've had since I was.
That's a historic artifact. Keep that forever.
It is. I use it for like store emails and like all of those things, so that it's like become a junk mail.
Yeah, it's like your burner email. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So that's where all that goes. But hey, yes, I've had it for a long time.
So what does come to mind as your favorite piece that you've written of late?
Of late? That's still a tough one. I'm going to cheat a little bit. So I do write, for money. So I've written at a lot of different websites.
Hope so.
Yes.
So.
But I do also still do write for fun. It is, a thing that I enjoy doing. So I have a newsletter on Substack. And
where do we find that, by the way? Little plug there.
Oh, yeah. It's I think it's just Sa'iydaShabazz.substack.com.
Okay.
It's called This Must Be Pop. I write mostly about 90s and early aughts pop culture.
Nice.
My
That's our
favorite.
sweet spot.
I'm an elder.
Favorites.
I'm an elder millennial. I hate that term, but I guess that's what it is. Like, I am a person who is approaching her 40s. And I can't believe that 2000 was 24 years ago. It was 5 minutes.
We're all in denial about that.
So that was kind of like the time where I was a teenager, and, you know, pop culture was like the best. It was like a really interesting time. Yeah. So I re-examine a lot of what happened back then through like current context, or, you know, I just will examine it through like my own personal experiences. Like, I don't write as regularly as I should because real life and bills get in the way. But
totally.
Like for June, I wrote a post called "Angelina Jolie Made Me Gay."
Same.
Because that was my, you know, sexual awakening at the age of 12. And then
her other half is definitely what made us gay. That's for sure.
My gay sexual awakening was Ty Pennington. Do you remember who Ty Pennington was?
I do. From, what was that, Trading Spaces?
Trading Spaces, and he was the head carpenter on Extreme Makeover Home Edition.
Makeover.
He came out with a book called like Ty's Tricks. It was like how to like renovate your home, but there were like photos of him shirtless, like with a hammer. And I remember being like, something has changed within me.
Something is not the same.
Someday
you're tired of playing by the rules of someone else's game.
That's my dream role, by the way. Still fingers crossed on that one. No, but that was my sexual awakening. So yours was Angelina Jolie. I love it. Gavin, what was yours? Like Clark Gable, or what was it?
Oh, Jesus. Just
Charlie Chaplin.
Wait,
was it like Richard Gere or something like that?
I'm going to bring it back to an episode about, 8 episodes ago. We were very lucky to have David Marshall Grant on the show. David Marshall Grant is a writer-producer, but also was an actor, and he was in the movie with Kevin Costner called American Flyer, and it was a biking movie. Now, this isn't what made me gay, but I was a young enough kid where I was watching this scene that was an implied, I suppose, sex scene where a dude is in bed, takes off his underwear, tosses it as the girl comes out of the bathroom. And it's just like wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And I was like, wonder what he did underneath the covers and what's going on there. And he took his undies off. And I was able to confess to him just a couple of episodes ago, David Marshall Grant, I think you made me gay.
Yeah.
I love it.
That was a good one. I know that's a deep cut. But anyway.
That's niche. I like that, though. I like it.
So you said just now, I have some opinions. I have opinions about the parenting digital media space. But
I do.
It's changed. What are your opinions? Bring them.
I think that obviously, like, media has to change to keep up with tastes. I also think that, like, they chase money naturally.
Yeah, of course.
But that doesn't always lead to conducive work. I think I'm one of those people who's like, bring back patronage, and like when artists got paid to do the things that they like, and you know, whatever. But I think that money has become the first thought, and everything else is an afterthought. And so content has had to shift to keep up with that, which is, you know, a choice. I think that there's been a homogenization of parenting writing, if you will, or parenting digital media, because pretty much all of the main, like the big sites that get pushed are owned by the same people.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, you know, there's a bit of a monopoly on the industry. I worked for 5 years at Scary Mommy, which was like the best 5 years and such a great way to like really kickstart my career. I got to do some really cool things there.
Awesome.
But they got bought by another company, and it was pretty almost instantaneous that things were changing. We couldn't talk about the same kind of things that we were talking about before, or at least we couldn't in the same ways. Things got censored and started to shift and change in that way.
So did those megalopolies that have taken over all of this content, is it just catering to like white women in Ohio still? Is that what you mean by the homogenization?
I don't know if it's necessarily white women in Ohio. I think that it's definitely white women. I think that there was a shift that was starting to happen where, you know, especially at Scary Mommy, but at other places too, where writers of color, writers who were queer, like there started to be kind of an opening for us to have space to tell our stories. Yeah. And I think that shift kind of started to go backwards a little bit. I mean, I could be wrong. Admittedly, once I left Scary Mommy, I had an excuse to not have to engage with that world anymore. And so I don't. Also, I have a kid who's older. It's not really a space that I feel like is for me. We're in that still, like in that in-between, like tween thing. And I think parenting influencer culture is something that's very different. So those are those like picture, you know, it's an Instagram post of a black and white, like tired looking mom with her top knot and the hair's coming out. And she writes this like 3,000 word, like diatribe about nothing really, like and then it's like, oh, and the kids and the dog, and this is the face of a tired mama who's just doing her best. And then at the end it's like, if you're like me, you've got this, mama, we can do it. And it's
vomit. Like, no thank you.
Yeah, basically no, I'm like, what the fuck, like this is some, like, seriously,
it's just so tired. It's so tired.
And
you know what,
and it's like
what you're saying about the blogs too, I know nothing about blogs. You say the word blog and I have like no idea what you're talking about, but the same is happening in theater and film and TV, where it's to me it's the risk tolerance, right? It's like they've always wanted money, right? That's always been the point. However, they were like, let me invest in the top. Let me hire the best writers, the best directors, and invest in the great VPs of development who understand culture and content, and let them do their shit and create content. Now they're like, all right, let's measure. I mean, Gavin, you can attest to this. They will say, before an actor is hired, what is their Instagram following? What they want to prove their ticket worth.
I know my wife used to work in casting, so there you go. Yes, I am a writer now. I have a theater degree, so.
No.
Yeah,
so there we all share that baggage. I think we all have a theater degree.
Yes, sure do. I always jokingly say that I came of age before Hamilton, so there were no roles for me. And that's why I left theater. They're like, what do you mean? I was like, well, I'm black and I'm 5'9". Like, there are no roles for me.
Well, yeah,
I created my own destiny, guys, and went into a lot of debt.
I am curious, real quick, in terms of the mommy influencers who are like, this is the picture of a tired mommy. Would you prefer that versus the airbrushed sense of goop fabulosity that, parenting is just so fabulous.
Parenting is a handbag,
If you just try harder, we know you're tired, but I mean, like that fabulosity versus the performative, we're all suffering through this together.
But isn't it all performative? Is it it's performative from both angles. One's performative with makeup. Yeah.
It's one of those things where, like, there's always a modicum of authenticity in there somewhere, but when you're playing for the algorithm, you have, like, that's what it is. Like, you're basically playing for the algorithm. So you're creating and you're using these hashtags and you're like, you know, we went from the blogging era was like radical honesty at a time where radical honesty was a shock.
Yep.
Then you had the rise of parenting digital media where we were being radically honest. But also, I wasn't just talking about parenting. I talked about so many other things. Like, my kid got to an age where I was like, he's not interesting anymore. He's potty trained. He's, you know, he's in kindergarten. Like, we've gone through a lot of the major stresses, if you will. And so I wasn't breastfeeding anymore. Like, I can't mill him for content his entire life. So where does that shift, you know? Yeah. So then I was really writing more about myself, my experiences, like being a low income parent, being a single parent, coming out. Like, those were kind of, I wrote a lot about politics. I pissed off a lot of white women.
Yes.
Yeah. It's my favorite. It is kind of one of my favorite things.
It's a fun game.
It's exhausting and has gotten me in trouble. So now I just don't. It was, after 2020, it was, I'm protecting my peace. I was like, if we're going to borrow from the over borrowed Taylor Swift, I'm in my protecting my peace era, if you will.
Understood.
And I probably will be forever because it's exhausting.
No.
Yeah.
But I do like dip my toes in every once in a while and kind of like
sometimes you like to shake the hornet's nest a little bit just to watch them buzz around, and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna go back inside.
What's gonna happen. Yeah, like I did for my Substack a couple months ago. I wrote a piece about it was called "Justin Timberlake Taught Me a Lesson in White Feminism."
Nice.
Okay.
So because again, like what I like to do is make like old pop culture topical again, or like I jump on a moment if it is topical.
Sure.
And after the release of Britney Spears' book, like there was a lot of conversation. And so I was like, oh my God, remember that time when Justin Timberlake performed at the halftime show of the Super Bowl in 2018?
Sure.
And white women lost their minds because they still were like, justice for Janet Jackson, even though like that had already been put to bed. And she's like, I've moved on and he's moved on. And we're like, white men suck. And I'm like, okay, that's weird. Okay, like it's a weird take. Like most of you were 12 when this, like at most, how many of us were? I was a senior in high school, so I was 17 when Nipplegate happened. So I'm like, most of us were teenagers. You cannot tell me you were socially conscious at 17 because we hadn't been taught to be socially conscious because we lived in a post-racial, pre-Obama America. Like you were not having these thoughts or conversations, and it's okay to let it go.
And also, I think the context that I think a lot of people forget, and we were the last generation, not you, Gavin, sorry. We were the last generation to have this, which is where we grew up in a time pre-iPhone. I think that's the big thing because we got to experience Britney Spears and O-Town and Backstreet Boys and all that kind of stuff at 1-to-1. They would perform a number on TV, and that was the maximum we got from them. We could maybe find a blood. Now I know when JC Chazé farts every day. I know when he farts. I could log into a live cam of his toilet at any point I want. It is a different experience. So
we have, and it's weird because we as adults there's a level of reversion back, but also with this like adult knowledge, and it creates a really messy parasocial relationship. I'm like, listen, that is a person I do not know. I am not in his bed. You know, RIP, 12-year-old me would have really enjoyed that. But, we're not. Like, I don't know him. He does not owe us anything because we don't know each other. You are a celebrity. You get paid to make music. You get paid to perform. I don't care if you apparently cheated on your wife or you asked your 19-year-old girlfriend to have an abortion, which is a smart thing to do. Also, like, really weird people got really weird about that. And I was like, do we forget how old they were at the time?
Yeah.
Like, you think that, this is a 19-year-old
You're a 19-year-old, beautiful, rich pop star. You be fucking. Like, what else is there to say? Like,
there was, when it finally came out, and she was like, he ruined my life. I was like, hi. I was there at the time. I was 15-ish. You could not tell me at that age that they were not having sex.
Right.
I was like, I've seen what they look like.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I, at my young age, was like, I would tap that if given the opportunity. Why would they not, at their ages, also be tapping that?
I would tap that. I feel like that phrase maybe ages you perfectly. Like if you had just said with the screen black, I'd tap that. I'd be like, she's an elder millennial. Boom.
I'm so fascinated by all of this, though, in part because it seems to me
because you're old.
Yeah, one, because I'm old, because I'm using you both as a sociological study, because I'm 72 years old, but also because a lot of your MO just saying, would everybody just please calm the fuck down?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That is the gist of most of my work. I mean, yes, to kind of bring it all back to where we started. That is the gist of a lot of my work is like, this is just like, what are we all doing? But also I keep it, I try to keep it as real as I can. I'm like,
you're home, baby. This is it. Gaytriarchs, you're home. This is where we get it all out. But you know what we can get overhyped about? Let's talk about the Olympics, because I see on my little thing that you're a big Olympics fan. So are you a summer? Are you a winter? Are you bi-Olympic? Like, what are you?
I am mostly a summer who dabbles in winter.
You're like winter curious. Got it.
Yeah, I'll check in. I will tap, I'll check in and be like, what are we doing today? Like, what's happening? But I'm not over invested. if this was the 90s, though, my ass was sat for the Winter
Oh
Olympics.
my God. 90s Winter Olympics were everything.
Figure skating was everything.
The Bryans,
Yes.
Brian Boitano,
Yes.
Brian Orser, that whole thing.
Yes, I was Michelle Kwan,
Michelle
Nancy
Kwan.
Kerrigan,
all of it.
Saria Bonali.
Saria Bonali with a backflip because she was like, fuck you
The
to the judge.
backflip?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
but she was
was
never allowed to do it in competition because
she was
basically
my bitch. Like,
because
she
nobody
was my
else could
bitch.
do it, so they're like, we don't want you doing it because that's
Exactly.
too fancy.
She was like the Simone Biles of figure skating, but figure
Absolutely.
skating wasn't ready to catch up.
Oh my God.
Totally.
So,
that is a name
yes.
that I have not thought about in a long time.
Oh, I love. She pops up every once in a while in my consciousness, and so But yes, so I am very much a Summer Olympics girl.
Okay.
Like, sat and ready. Like Friday last week, I was like, "It's time. We're doing this.
You're thriving.
I'm ready."
I believe you've been watching in real time, right? You aren't even waiting for prime time.
Yes, I try to watch as much of it in real time as I can.
Is this so you can write about it before everybody else knows about it? And then
No, it's because I'm chronically online.
Okay.
And if I don't watch it in real time, I'm going to get spoiled when I go on Twitter.
Yeah. It's true.
So I might as well, or Facebook, but like mostly Twitter. So like I need to watch it in real time because if not, Twitter is going to tell me who won.
Totally.
But I will catch up in prime time. Like, I missed the beginning of the women's all around yesterday morning because I was still asleep.
Okay.
This is my week off, so I've been sleeping in.
Thank you for taking time from your week.
I don't know. You guys with older kids, like when you say like, oh, I slept in, and my first thought was like, where are your toddlers up at 6 a.m.? Because I have a 2 and a 4-year-old. So like, there's no sleeping in regardless. Like there's nobody sleeps in this house. What are you talking about?
No, my kiddo usually is up around like 7-ish, give or take, but he's 10.
He can just get up and do his own shit. Yeah.
He watches TV. Like, during school, he'll get up at like 6:15, 6:30. He gets up like 45 minutes before he needs to. When I roll my lazy ass out of bed at 7 o'clock, he's dressed. He's been fed.
Sounds like a magic future.
That is, well, you know what it is? It's not a magic future. That is good parenting. That is good parenting.
Well, you're not welcome here if you're a good parent. This is not a place for that.
I'm a mediocre at best
parent. Then now you're welcome back. Now you can come back.
World's okayest parents are the
I am the okayest parent. But like, he's so funny because like I said, Olympics, sport, like we're set, we're ready.
Yeah.
He's been watching it with me a lot, and my wife when she's home. Like,
I was going to say, your wife loves it too, hopefully?
She does. She's not quite as like, I love everything. Like when the Summer Olympics starts, I will watch a little bit of everything. So I'm always sat for gymnastics. Like that's my absolute favorite.
That's the top of the food chain.
I will be like, ooh, equestrian is on. Ooh, rifling is on. Ooh,
breakdancing now.
Breakdancing. Yeah, breakdancing. I watched badminton the other day. So like I watch a little bit of everything. Whereas she's like, she'll watch gymnastics with me. She'll watch swimming with me. She's more into volleyball and soccer.
All right.
So those are like the two things that she has to like see. Whereas I'm like, I want to watch it all.
She was never bisexual, always a lesbian.
She's like, I'm into equestrian. I'm into cat.
No, let me ask this one question. So, but taking it back another topic is that your general approach to writing is everybody needs to calm down. But I'm curious, since 2020, do you feel like things have shifted in a way that you're being seen the way you hope to and being able to write about the things that you hope to? Or has the pendulum of societal shifting shifted back and you're like, this is all bullshit, but let's everybody calm down?
I think that there was like, that's a great question. I think in 2020, there was definitely like a boom.
Sure.
I always jokingly say the summer of 2020 was like, I worked harder than I've ever worked in my life because everybody was like, write something for us.
Yeah.
Can you
They were
and so
banging
I was doing
on your door big time, I bet.
Yes, I was collecting a lot of checks.
Good.
So I was not mad about
well, that's
it.
good.
Definitely was not. Yeah, it was like, yes, please. Listen, if there is
you were just
one thing
mobile depositing. You were just like,
yeah, basically, if there is one thing I will do, it is cash in on my guilt.
Oh, please do it because we're only going to be guilty for so long.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Are we done being guilty?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I will absolutely cash in on my guilt. There is no doubt in my mind. I'm like, you feel bad? Yes, I will.
Venmo me. Here's my cash app.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. There was like one Juneteenth where I was like, if you have the day off, you should like Venmo your black friends, and like a bunch of people sent me money.
Amazing.
So
Cash in.
it wasn't self-motivated, but like good for me. Like I think I was like, we're door dashing tonight.
Yeah, we need to do that for queer guilt. We need to do some sort of like in June you must Venmo your gay friends
for
$5.
30 days.
You would think, but we've become I feel like gay friends have become even more accessorized than gay men were in the 90s.
Yeah, I suppose.
So like now everyone's like, what? I'm not a lesbian friend or my friend's like it doesn't
We're not
work
special anymore. Everyone's gay now.
We're not
it's so
special
annoying. Ugh, yeah.
It is. Fucking Gen Z really like made it difficult for everyone because they're like, well, everyone's gay.
So is the white guilt over? And so are you?
Yes. Okay. Yes. The white guilt is, I mean, maybe not on a micro level, but on a macro level it is. So like, I mean, you know, not to get too deep into it, but a lot of companies in the last like 6 months, year-ish have slashed DEI practices.
Yes.
Like they've laid off entire, you know, sections.
We were referencing that. I mean, if you're listening to this now in real time, we were referencing that earlier in the episode, actually, that the slashing of DEI is shocking, to say the least.
Shocking. Yeah.
And yet, not surprising? I don't know.
No. I mean, it's always, it's just like we were saying before about, you know, the mom influencer, the goop mom. It's all performative.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
So everything white people does is in service of looking like allies without actually having to do the work. So, or they do the work, but when it gets hard, when
it's fundamental, when it's systematic to their lives, then it stops.
Yes. Then it's like, no, you know, we can't do that.
Right.
Sorry. It's, you know, you're great, but like not that great.
You're great.
I mean, you know, like during my time, especially during my time in parenting digital media in like 2017, 2018, like, you know, in the Trump era, if you will, I feel like it's just easier to say it that way.
Sure.
In the Trump era, I was the only for at least my first year, maybe year and a half at Scary Mommy, I was the only consistent black writer, which is great. Like, I loved being Beyonce of the group. Like, I jokingly said it all the time. I was like, because it gave me, like, I knew that I had a consistency of work coming through, but also, like, I don't mind. I grew up being the only black girl in my social circle. Like, it is very comfortable for me. That's normal. But it was also during the pink pussy hat era. And so I had to handhold a lot of white women through trying to figure things out. And it got old and tiring really quickly. And I started to see inklings of behaviors. And I was like, okay, I'm clocking you, you know. And then it all kind of came to a head one day. And I called him out.
Oh.
And I called out a very popular white Christian liberal mommy blogger who had been a friend, and things had quickly turned, and she turned on me pretty hard. And turned, like, she made this lengthy, like, Facebook video about how when she was a waitress, when she was in her 20s, there was a person who came into the place where she waitressed, who she pushed this woman telling the story, insisted that this customer have banana pudding for dessert, even though this woman said she didn't like banana pudding. And in the end, the woman was like, I don't like banana pudding and I don't like you. And she was like, sometimes you're just going to be banana pudding and not everyone's going to like you. And was talking about me. And I was like, no, because I did like you. And then you started acting shady. And I called you out multiple times. And instead of course correcting, you kept doubling down.
Clearly doubled down to get that banana pudding shoved in all the ways.
And so it's become like an inside joke in my social circles. Like if we joke about banana pudding, like everybody knows what we're talking about. I cannot believe I just put that out there, but like whatever, it was years ago. I don't care. She's still popular and she's still singing her little sad songs all over social media.
My goodness.
But it was a whole thing. And so it was the time, like, it was an interesting time. It was interesting to see in real time how white women will turn on you when you make them uncomfortable. And so I was like, and now I see why you all voted for Trump. You got uncomfortable. So like, this is a perfect example of why, you know, why we are where we are. Because especially, I'm very curious because I saw that like White Women's for Kamala like crash Zoom, and I'm like, yeah, okay, we'll see what happens in November.
Right.
It's real cute now.
The Karens for Kamala, I do like.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens in a few months, or if she does become president, we'll see what happens like once February 2028, 6, whatever year, whatever like next year rolls around. Like we'll see if we'll see if that energy is still the same.
I would also say that that's going to correspond with the Olympics of Los Angeles 2028, actually, huh? So there'll be oh so much to monitor and write about then. So,
and we'll have you back in 2028, so we can talk about the Olympics.
Performatively, because we need
to
have the
Olympics.
Beyonce of all things intersectional writing back on the show.
Yes, and I will be hiding in my house because people are like, "What are you going to do when the Olympics comes to LA?" And I'm like, "Not leave the house.
Airbnb my house for $1 billion."
Can you do
that?
Yeah,
I mean, I will go to the Olympics because, oh my God, the idea of getting to see Olympic gymnasts in person, like,
so cool.
I was 10 years old for the 96 Atlanta Olympics, and it changed, like, watching that team changed my life in, like, fundamental ways. I still get all, like, overwhelmed when I, like, just think about it or talk about it. So last night when Simone Biles won the gold, or yesterday afternoon when Simone Biles won the gold all around, and Suni Lee won the bronze, and Rebecca Andrade won the silver, and it was the first time I had seen 3 women of color on a podium accepting gold medals for gymnastics. And knowing that they all came back from some sort of adversity, I was like crying.
Yeah, it was
my son was like, "Are you crying?" But it's, because he's 10 and he will take any opportunity to wrestle.
Of course he will.
Especially if tears are being shed. So he's like, "Are you crying?" And I was like, "It's just, I'm really proud of them, and it's really hard." And Simone Biles is like, if you ask them, she's like a skeleton, and she's on her last legs because she's 27,
right.
and
she's geriatric. She's definitely an elder gymnast, not just an elder.
It's
Gen
so
Zer.
funny to watch. If you ever want to feel bad about like being old, like just watch
the Olympics
sports, but especially the Olympics. Because they're like, and here comes this fossil at 24 years old in the pool, and I'm like, my 38-year-old self, shoveling the chips into her mouth while she's watching it is like, "Ow, I pulled my neck because I sneezed too hard." It makes you feel real good about yourself.
So speaking of feeling good about yourself, we love to be able to wrap this up with a bow in hearing about your stories of parenting, where I will never forget the time when ...
Our famous ellipses.
I will never forget the time when.
Parenting trauma, like we're talking, how do you earn your parenting merit badge?
There's so many, but I think because to kind of keep in line with the conversation that we've been having, like I said, pop culture is like such a big thing for me. It's basically like my whole life, and my son has become indoctrinated by proxy because it's he's the only kid in the house.
He has no
so
choice.
Sometimes it's just him and I, and it was just him and I for a long time. So I think the first time, he was probably about 6, he looked dead in my face and went, "It's gonna be me." I was like, "I've done it!
I did it. I made it happen.
And check.
He knew, not only did he know it, but he knew who it was.
Mm-hmm.
He can like point out, he now, thanks to Trolls 4.
Yes.
Trolls 4. Yeah. Yes, hello, I see you. He's right off screen.
Hey, buddy.
So, so right after, thanks to Trolls 4, he's become a little NSYNC fan.
Nice.
Yeah, and now Deadpool, like the opening of Deadpool, if you can see, he does Bye 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 as he's murdering people. It's fantastic.
We love to see it. I know that 4 of the 5 members were at the premiere, and there was a big controversy because everyone's like, "Where's Justin?" I'm like, "He's in Poland. I don't understand how you think he could be in 2 places at once." Like, "He hates the band," and I'm like, "That's not true."
He was busy.
He's literally in Poland on the world tour. He's got the world tour. If you're if you're chronically online like I am, it did not ruin the tour. But there was, like, he just has this like love and appreciation for something that was like so fundamental to me, and like he knows who's who and can like recognize them, and is like we went to see Justin Timberlake in May, the three of us.
Nice.
And he fell asleep during the concert, but we still had a good time. It was a long day. He had a long day at school. So like,
I remember seeing Britney Spears in Vegas when she had her Vegas residency, and like everyone was sitting. Everyone was sitting, and I was like, yeah, because we're all in our 30s. We don't stand at concerts anymore. Sorry, babe. Yeah. I
mean, you do, and then you sit.
Yeah.
Like
you stand up in the opening. Yep. She does oops, and then she moves on to I'm Not a Girl, and everyone sits down, and then that's it. We're down for the rest of the.
And then you're down. You're sat and seated. But yeah, it was like getting to see him like experience pop culture things from like when I was a teenager that like mean a lot to me, I think is my biggest parenting win. He also knows the words to Get Low by Lil Jon and the East Side Boys.
Okay.
So he'll be like, from the wit to the window,
to the walls, to the sweat.
Sweat drop down my balls. Down.
Proud parent.
He's self-censored.
Proud parent.
So he doesn't say bitches.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, you could use the censored version and say females if that makes you feel better.
Mm-hmm.
He's all like, down these females crawl, down skeet, 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 like this is you're so proud when they take their first steps and they say their first words and all that other shit. But really, it's when they get you as a person.
When they say, when the sweat drips down my balls, that's when you really are like, I've made it as a parent.
But I was like, I did it,
Sa'iyda, thank you for demeaning yourself and being on this stupid podcast.
Thank you for having me.
We are thrilled. Thank you. It was a total delight.
No, thank you for having me. I've never gotten to do a podcast where I wasn't having to like tell my sob story.
Nope.
So, like,
nope. Not here, babe.
Ain't got no time for that. No.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sa'iyda.
You're so welcome.
So something great for me this week. I got to see a Broadway show yesterday.
What?
I know.
Talk about something you want to do alone.
I never get to see Broadway shows anymore. It's super expensive, as not even the tickets. It's just the babysitters and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, we had some friends in town. They were like, hey, you want to see a matinee in the middle of the week? And we were like, fuck yeah, we do. And we went and saw The Outsiders.
Hell yeah.
Now, it is based off a movie, which I have never seen. I have literally never seen the movie. So I love going to see Broadway musicals. Totally cold. Sure. I don't want to know anything about it. I don't want to see the preview. I don't want to see the logo. I just want to walk in that theater and sit down. Anyway, I loved it. The story, which is from the movie and then obviously from the book, it's Romeo and Juliet. It's West Side Story. It's, two rival gangs and somebody gets murdered or whatever. But what I got, my something great was not just seeing the show, but the directing and the lighting and the sound were so good in a way that I was like, this makes me feel hopeful about the future of theater, because it's not just stupid fucking fabric drops flying in while they change a set behind them and then chorus girls kicking their legs. It was really beautiful. There's, if you know the movie, which I didn't, but there's a lot of like fighting, like fist fighting in the show. And that can kind of look hokey on stage generally.
Totally.
And they did it in this wonderful way. They were playing with time and the lighting and the sound. It was all working together. The whole stage was dirt, like real dirt. It was so great, and it felt like live theater is continuing to be relevant and interesting, and I really loved watching that part of the show, and that was my something great.
Well, along those lines, in terms of entertainment and being taken out of your everyday, I got to give a shout out to the Olympics, because oh my God, I love the Olympics. And something great for me is it isn't necessarily about the competition in the sports, although that's very, very exciting. But I am a sucker for all of not the heartwarming stories, but the like sense of everybody coming together. Furthermore, my day job is working for arts advocacy, and I love how much they're highlighting the arts and dancing. Frankly, there's so many videos of all these athletes dancing all the time. What do you do when you're having fun? I mean, sure, they swim and do backflips and run and everything, but also just to be silly and bring joy and do something great is they dance. And that reminds me every single day that we all need to dance some more. So my something great is, frankly, dancing at the Olympics.
But also those bodies, those boys, those gymnast boys and their little packages and their giant arms and those legs.
Those giant shoulders.
I am such a perverted monster watching that stuff. I don't care how high they flip.
They know exactly. They meaning NBC and Comcast and the boys
and their
exactly
socials. I tell you what, those social media accounts, they know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing.
Selling.
Unlike us, who have no idea what we're doing. Unlike this show, where we have no idea what we're doing. And I apologize, but that is our show. If you have any comments, suggestions, or general compliments, you can email us at GaytriarchsPodcast@gmail.com.
Or you can DM us on Instagram. We are at GaytriarchsPodcast. On the internet, David is at DavidFMVaughn everywhere, and Gavin is at Gavin Lodge at Tractor Supply.
Please leave us a glowing 5-star review wherever you get your tractors.
Thanks, and we'll palm a horseshoe next time on another episode of Gaytriarchs.